This is going to be my in-depth analysis of Beautiful. Now, Beautiful is a music video. It was sung by Megan Nicole, okay? And it was posted on the internet, and I actually made a video response to Beautiful. Unfortunately, the reaction of Alicia Seaman and Natalie Stiles made this video a necessity, and I'm sorry for this. Okay, so let's talk about this. When you see the song, Megan Nicole is a beautiful singer, and the song was very well performed. So that is not the problem. The problem comes from the lyrics. Now, obviously, neither Natalie Stiles nor Alicia Seaman have ever been around toddlers. Because if they read this set of lyrics like poetry, they would begin to realize the real problem with this song. Okay? I've been around toddlers, and I know that when they don't get their toy, or they don't get their Happy Meal, or they don't get something that they really want, oh, I didn't get my hula hoop, then sometimes what they'll do is they'll bawl their heads off. Oh, it's such a horrible day, I didn't get my hula hoop. Now, if you compare that to the lyrics in this song, you will begin to really realize the similarity. Oh, I didn't get this guy. It's all a bad day. Now, for a 4-year-old, that's not a big deal. Simple smack on the butt, and all of a sudden, he'll straighten his act up, and that'll be the end of that. I didn't say a beating. I said a smack on the butt. Big difference between a smack on the butt and a beating. Trust me. So, when it comes to a hula hoop or a Happy Meal or some kind of a toy or something like that, that's not a big deal. However, when it comes to older kids and they don't get the relationship they want, here's the things that can happen. Social anxiety disorder, self-harm, anorexia, bulimia, and even possibly suicide. That's a problem. It's so horrible, my life's not worth living anymore. You see the problem? So when I saw this, I decided to respond, hopefully to save a few people's lives. And you should have seen the reaction I got after that. It wasn't very nice. So in the interest of trying to save a few people's lives, I'm going to say this. Obviously, neither Alicia Seaman nor Natalie Stiles have ever read any relationship advice whatsoever. They've never read any relationship books. They've not read any columns. Nothing. Had they done so, they would have understood what I was trying to say, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Okay. So what my solution is for people like that who can't get their guys to notice them, is to grow a brain. That means read books, read magazines, read newspapers, learn a few things, and then walk up to a guy like this and try to strike up an intelligent conversation. Why is this? Because there are people in this world that the only thing they seem to absorb is SpongeBob, Family Guy, and Homer Simpson. Now, lots of people watch these programs. I'm not exactly sure why they do, but they do. They must be entertaining. But there is a difference between watching programs like this and just absorbing nothing but stuff like this. Let me say that again in simple preschool terms. There is a humongous difference between taking a sip of something like that and just guzzling it down night and day and making that that is just your whole life. Big difference. The simple fact of the matter is that if you can't change a tire, you're not going to become a car mechanic. If you can't stand the sight of blood, then surgeon is out of the question. Nobody hires you to be a chemist if you can't read a book. It doesn't work that way. So, when you walk up to a guy to try to have an intelligent conversation with him. What you're trying to do is assess what kind of an employment future this guy has. Will he make you a part of the middle class? Will he take you down to Rich Avenue? Or will he take you down Poor Street? I've been down Poor Street. Let me tell you something. Poor Street ain't fun. That is just not a fun place to be. It's that simple. Nobody wants to be on Poor Street, and I have been doing everything I can to get people out of Poor Street. If you don't believe me, go through all the 2,400 of my videos, and go, especially if focus on the playlist, and start learning a few things for a change. You'll find out. You say, well, I couldn't possibly in a lifetime learn all that stuff. That's absolutely wrong. And I told people how to do it. I said, you get yourself a speed reading book, you learn that, and then you speed read this book right here, The Memory Book by Harry Lorraine. Once you do that, learning no longer is an issue. Period. I told you people this. But apparently Natalie Stiles and Alicia Seaman did not watch any of this, so they had no idea. That's a detriment to them, but that's their problem. Okay. So, now that you know all this, here's the lady. She goes up to the guy, tries to have an intelligent conversation. If he does not have an intelligent conversation with her, she needs to dump him and go dating the DJ. Why the DJ? Because that guy already has a future. Whether it's a good future or bad future has yet to be determined, but he already has a future. So now you may have a future because of him. Of course, then again, you could just have your own future by learning all this stuff and getting yourself a good paying job of your own. But keep in mind that if you do pursue a career of your own and you have some scum bum that you've married, he becomes an anchor to you. You're literally dragging him around. You don't want to drag somebody around. You don't want to get married to a bum. It's that simple. And there are plenty of relationship books that will validate everything I've just said. Now then, in my original video, which is going to be the first link down here in the comments below, I brought up a lot of topics that you could have actually talked to this guy about. And I'm going to add a few, because apparently people have not gotten this yet. Alright, when it comes to the lead paint, 37% of California schools still have lead paint in their lockers. They still have lead in their pipes. You are ingesting the lead, and it can cause lead poisoning. And do I really have to stand there and make an entire video about lead poisoning? Can't you just read that up for yourself? Maybe not, I don't know. The point is, that is a serious topic that can be brought up. It could be put in the school newspaper. That's right, you can meet the editor of the school newspaper, bring this topic up, he publishes it, and it can strike up a good relationship. A good friendship, and possibly even more. Now then, what about the balloons? Balloons are made out of latex. I know there are new balloons now that are made out of mylar, but standard balloons these days are made out of latex. Latex comes from rubber plants, and they can be a dermatologist's nightmare. This is a serious topic. It can be brought up in a school newspaper. You could write an article for a regular newspaper. You see what I mean? These are serious topics that can be brought up. There are people today that are so engrossed in their smartphones that they pay absolutely no attention to the traffic around them. And if you start walking across the street engrossed in your smartphone, a car could hit you. That's a serious topic. It is being discussed, and there are going to be new rules made about this as soon as enough people die over it. And yes, I'm just waiting for the day that somebody get hit by a car because they were too engrossed in their smartphone to realize that a car was coming at them. It's going to happen. You're going to see it. I guarantee it. Now, apparently Alicia Seaman and Natalie, what's her last name? Let's see. Natalie Stiles. Okay? Alicia Seaman and Natalie Stiles just apparently don't know any of this. And I'm sorry, they don't. They should. It is important. Very important. So, I am not the bad guy here at all. Everything I stated was for your benefit. And you really, guys, let me tell you something. There are people that would be dumb enough in this world right now to bring in a hydrogen tank instead of a helium tank and fill up a whole bunch of balloons with it. Now, hydrogen is flammable. You put that around open flame candles and you're going to have yourself the towering inferno on your hands. Now, if you want to understand what a towering inferno is, look up the Chicago fire of 1903. That'll tell you something about a towering inferno. This is something good to bring up. This is a good topic. So, anyway, are you finally understanding everything I'm trying to tell you people? The fact of the matter is that when you go up to a guy and you start having an intelligent conversation with him, if he can't follow along in your conversation, ditch him. He doesn't have a good future. You need to find somebody who does. You'll be much better off. Now then, say, well, are there any men of good character in this world today? You betcha. Bear with me. I'm going to bring this up. I'm sorry to say that the guy I'm going to talk about next has recently passed away. But this guy had good character. And there are thousands, if not millions of guys in the United States right now and all over the world that are just like this guy. His name, Zach Zobiek. I hope I pronounced his last name right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Okay? You ought to watch this video. I'm going to leave a link to it. It's going to be the second link down here. I want you to see this guy. This guy had a good character. He was a musician. He was a very good guy. And had he lived, he would have had a really good future. This is a guy with character. This is a guy you should yearn to date. This is a guy you should marry. This guy could have taken care of somebody had he lived. But there are thousands of millions of guys just like this guy, and they are men of good character. These are people that are ideal to date and marry. If you're too blind to see that, you're just too blind, period. Whew. Anyway, this is all I've got to say about this subject. Now, like I said, there are two links down here below. The first one is my original response to Beautiful by Megan Nicole. That was my first response. The reason why I'm going to post that on there is because I brought up a lot of topics that you could talk intelligently to a guy to see if he's worth the time of day. If he's not, ditching. The second link will be to Zach Zobiek so you can see what kind of a good guy this guy was. I'm sorry he's gone. Hopefully there are thousands of other guys that are just like him that will get on YouTube and show people what a good guy is. So, that's all I got to say on this subject. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.